So, today I'm going to be doing today I'm going to be doing um a an attempted cohesive review of all the books that I've read, of the summer books I've read. And it won't be the best, but it also won't be the worst because I've seen some pretty worse. Um a majority of these, since I do have a job, are ebooks or audiobooks that I listen to while I sweep the chimney. So I wouldn't say that these books are necessarily under, or I'm sure there's a better word, beta to fucking the books that I read last year. But last year was kind of my debut, like, renaissance into reading again. So maybe I do have a bit of nostalgia and bias for last year, but nonetheless, it's pretty good. Now, I am the type of person to go through the book catalog like I'm shopping, and I don't necessarily read all the books that I get, but c'est la vie. One of my favorites this year was Kill the Boy Band by Goldy Moldavsky. And it's basically like a fan fiction, like fangirl type fiction about girls who become so obsessed that they kind of lose sight of reality. And eventually, it's definitely based on One Direction, but eventually they do meet the boys and a murder occurs. I'm not saying who, but it's also like, I thought the characters were really well written in terms of teenage girls. Like, they weren't too, like, the dialogue wasn't like an adult writing children is more accurate to how I would normally talk if I was a fangirl and how I've heard fangirls talk. Now, with that being said, it is a little like very like phantasmical. Like, obviously some things would definitely not happen in real life, even in the most extreme terms, but it's fiction. What are you gonna do? I rated this like a 5 out of 5 stars, because like this is a very unique book, and I feel like in the new like decade to come there would be a lot of books describing this sort of like plot and scenario, considering that a lot of teenage girls are growing to be authors, and obviously there'll be some experience about this, and I'm excited for that because I was one of those fangirls, but not one of those boy band fangirls, and it'll be interesting to see how the literary world will be kind of shaken up. With that being said, yeah. Next, I'll turn my gazes to Ali Hazelwood, who wrote The Love Hypothesis, and I thought was really good. But it's also fan fiction about Rilo, and I thought that was pretty interesting myself. And I do like to read shitty books, so I did take an adventure into that, and it was pretty good. But reading further into her bibliography which I just made up myself. She has the same sort of plot. She's just trying to. It's kind of like the Stephanie Meyer effect, where she's writing about her dreams, and I don't know if she has asthma or not, but she is not happy. Girl just hates her science job. Probably writes away because damn, she has come out with like 5 books already describing the same type of situation, and like I know she slips up and she writes Allie instead of fucking. And it's also like it's always the same type of girl. She always has like this quirky type of name. She always she meets a guy and they're enemies to lovers, and it's all just big misunderstanding. She's like really, really quirky, really smart, really nerdy. She's always really nerdy, which, like, please write a different type of girl. And the girl is always white, so white, and the guy is always white. And he's always big and he's always bulky. Like, have some diversity, please. But I am going to read the rest of novellas because I have to. I like being negative. So, speaking of bad authors, Kanish Bushnell of Sex and the City. I do love the show, but the writers of that show had to work their fucking ass, glutens, and biceps off to fucking piece that shit together, because the show is much better than the book, which is really sad, but it's Kanish Bushnell, what are you gonna do? So, she was originally like a columnist, and that's Carrie is basically like a fictionalized, cooler version of her. But damn, like, it's really like, I think is that fucking Disney movie where the fictionalized version is much better, but you have like identity issues, and the writing wasn't cohesive. Like, I would have liked it more if she had pieced together the actual like columns into something I could actually fucking understand, because it went from like, it's also like a Carrie and Big type thing, and it'll show like, oh, she was dating him and then he fucking slapped her in the face and then she went back. Like, it's just like, but it doesn't show like how, like, it doesn't piece it together. Like, this isn't a story, it's just a fucking, like, if you're gonna write a novel, I'd expect you to at least like provide some context to the intervals. Like, why just publish a bunch of fucking columns? Now, I know that Carrie would definitely have. I know she pieced it together because she's just so considerate like that, just like that. Actually, I just read through it, and I just knew that, like, I didn't take it seriously. I just read the words. That's all I fucking did. So, speaking of reading the words or listening to them, I read While We Were Dating, and it was good, and I did enjoy the diversity of the characters, and like the main character being like plus sized and going through her whole like it was very, the character was very like deeply developed, which I also enjoyed, instead of it just being like a white girl who's like 85 pounds. But I kind of expected the fake dating thing to be more like glamorized, considering it was based in Hollywood, but it is based on her like suffering because of it. But I would have enjoyed more like the author focused too deeply in the moments, like so much time, like little moments, which is good, but you have to have a balance of that and how much time they actually spent together. I don't know if that makes sense, but in my head it does. It just felt like something was missing, in my opinion. Um, Speaking of missing something, we have Ready Player 2. I have read Ready Player 1 for a school assignment, and I hated it until the finale, which was kind of what led me to read the Ready Player 2. Because Ready Player 2 is kind of like. Because Ready Player 1 was. It was shit, but the end was really good. It's one of those books where it's like. I really fucking hated reading it until the end. And then the end kind of pieced it all together. Um, so yeah. Ready Player 2 was like that, but like accelerated and really fucking trippy. Where basically it was like an immortality type thing where um Halliday did a thing where he duplicated your consciousness and made it into like an AI, and the Oasis where um basically they just live forever, and they had all the personality, like all the memories, which I thought was interesting in terms of like the Kira plot, and I really liked the whole Kira thing, but at the end it just got really like overdeveloped, like Ernest, what the fuck are you doing? Like it was more of like a philosophical type thing instead of just a sci-fi novel, but it's also like really fucking creepy. It just like defeated the whole point of humankind and described it as like, oh, well, this is the greatest gift to humanity. And Mia's like how, why would you even want to duplicate, like, why would you want, like, living forever is one of those plots where it's always a bad idea. And doing an IONI type shit where you can go deeply in, like, defeats the whole purpose of the first novel where they're like, oh, um, you're just living too deeply in something that isn't real, than rather than going to reality. And fucking what is Wade, like he develops in the first novel, and then the second novel it just picks right up like where he was at the beginning, and then it just stays there. um Artemis is a fucking bitch, which I'll and their relationship is so like poorly written, as well as like different characters, like H is a black woman who is also gay, and he writes her so stereotypical, and it's like, oh my god, like I can just tell white man is like writing that. And eventually, like, they have a whole Prince subplot where oh, of course only H knows it because she's black, and like so many stereotypical things that were so unnecessary and so like disgusting, and like the way he wrote her dialogue, like, oh my god. Anyways, and it's so like because she's the only like person of color in the whole fucking catalog, to be honest. Like they're all white. Everyone they introduce is white, except for I think it's Shoro, but he gets like 2 lines of dialogue and then he's out. And also there are a lot of plot holes in it, like if like the fucking duplicates go to find a new planet for Earth, right, while the others stay. So like this whole fucking Oasis thing, how can these duplicates go away? Like, is the Oasis just fucking live streaming? Like, is it like a digital, like, is it like a smartboard fucking projector projecting them all? Like, how? Like, you need the fucking headset to see all that. You need the IONI. Or is it in real life? Like, he never specified that. But if it's in real life, then how can you build the life, the body itself? Like, what is it projecting from? How can the duplicates go away from it so far if the Oasis is based on like a person on a headset? I kind of just skimmed, not skimmed, but I was paying attention. But that teacher just fucking caught me. The whole like series, and I don't plan on reading. I just read Ready Player 2 for like shits and giggles, and because I just wanted to see how shittier it can get. So I'm not gonna read his other books. I know he has one named like Armada or some shit, and it's probably the same fucking plot, the same fucking boy. And he's like, I can tell the author's kind of like caught up in his 80s daydream of nostalgia, but some other fucking fanboy can deal with that. I'm not gonna deal with that. The John Hughes plot point was pretty cool, and the RDJ, but that was about it. Yeah. Let's see what else we have on the roster. I also read Animal Farm for the first time, but the graphic novel, because like something about classics and graphic novels are just, they just mesh so well together. And I feel like it's more like, I don't know, I just like it better. Because the way it's written is like, it tends to bore me. But if it's in like graphic novel, it tends to grab my attention more, and like the plot points that everyone's talking about, like, oh, okay. Which reminds me of Fahrenheit 251, and a book that I also read about like libraries and like the different facts about it, which I also thought was cool, but maybe a little bit too long. And they described the author. Oh my fucking god, I have the book. I'll get it. Fahrenheit 451. That was it. That's the ticket. Oh, Ray Bradbury. And he was originally like, I think he originally went to the library a lot, and he like really liked books, some shit. And Fahrenheit 451 is actually the degree of fire, of fucking temperature that books burn out, which I thought was really interesting. I did try to read it, but essentially I got kind of bored. I may try it again because I know people say it's good. It's also like a really interesting topic. So yeah. I may try to find if there's like a graphic novel, but yeah. Anywho, Animal Farm was actually really, 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 really interesting, and I really liked George Orwell. Like his writing kind of interesting. I haven't read it's like a fucking eye. You know what I'm talking about, the fucking cameras or whatever. And it started with like an old man, like 13th hour, and I was like, fuck this, do not want to read it. But Animal Farm is actually really, really, really interesting, and I may actually read it in text form, maybe if I'm feeling kind of literary by then. I'm gonna try to read Truman Capote since I have to for AP Lang, but I also may read Breakfast at Tiffany's because I've it's about like New York glamour, which is kind of my speed. Um, so yeah, I may do that. But I also want to, since it is starting to be fall, which I fucking hate, um, I may start to get, which I also I like fall, but it tends to go downhill from there. But I do like to read kind of like darker, more literary classic reads that tend to be interesting, but I don't like to ruin my mood in summer. And I also like to walk around and be like, kind of show off. Except for Jane Austen. I fucking hate Jane Austen. Like, I can't do that. I also am gonna read House of Gucci because I also love fashion type books. And I watched the movie and it was really good. And I kind of want to see the more in-depth version throughout the book. And Patricia sounds really like, she sounds like a bad girl. She sounds really like dynamic and like she planned a handmaid for her husband. I mean, I would, if he, you know, he got what was coming, but she is kind of also evil. But it's like in the fictionalized version. You love the art, not the person. Except if it's Ali Hazelwood. That being said, what I'm going to read next is Divergent, which I've never read, which is kind of surprising, but I have watched the movie and 4 was really cute, so I may delve into that. I'm 27% in. I'm going to read The Kiss Quotient because I love shitty, well, not shitty, but like tacky kind of romances, and Helen Huang is also a great author. The Pearl by John Steinbeck and Cinder by Marissa Meyer, because I started to read the like audiobooks. Just sometimes I just need it in a different format and I'll like just get interested in it. But I know, like, yeah. And then I also got Carrie Soto is back on pre-order, which I surprised myself. I really did, because I don't really buy books that often. But I love I love Taylor something Reed. I am subscribed to a newsletter, which she's also come back on. Huge disappointment. But the book is also signed. I mean, I have Ocean Vuong signed. But yeah, I'm just planning to like read more. When I read more, but I'm gonna get to 160 before the end of the year. And also kind of like, I'm trying to sect off my normal like fiction, fantasy, romance type thing, so I can experience everything. Honestly, this is the year of everything. All the feelings. So yeah. I'm also going to read Angels in America, which is a play, and I love reading plays. And this one is really good, I've heard. And so like it's really funny, but it's also very relatable even now. And really poignant, I think. But it is very long. No, it's not. It's like 283. But I'll go into it. That's about all I have for today.